When I started in the communications business, of course, most people know I was in radio, but I was just a kid. And when I say kid, I mean I was young. I won't say how old I was, then you may figure out how old I am today. But one guy that I met as a kid that was really nice to me was a White Sox player by the name of Greg Pryor. And I tell you what, he was such a nice guy. It is great to reconnect with my friend Greg Pryor. Greg, you look like you could play today. I know you're retired. You play with the White Sox. You won a World Series with the Royals. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kenny. It's so great that we communicated through social media. And when you sent me the request to get in touch with you, I'm thinking, Kenny, who? I mean, who is this guy, Kenny?
Hey, I have that effect on people.
Then I started looking up about, back in the days, and it was so wonderful to. I didn't keep track of your progress, man, but I'm so excited that we're sharing each other's lives today, because it was a long time since those early days when I was a young guy there in Chicago on the South Side, and I was giving bats to everybody to ask me for one, because I spent 7 years in the minors. So I was just happy you asked me for a bat.
And I still have it. I have it somewhere around here. I still have it. Hey, you have a book out, and I love the book, Greg Pryor, The Day the Yankees Made Me Shave, which I didn't understand the title of the book until I read the actual book. It's
Yeah.
a great read. Tell me about the book and the title.
Well, the reason I wrote the book real quickly is because my grandpa played 1912 in Ohio, and all I had was a picture of him and my grandpa Homer Pryor and his team. So I decided to leave some stories for my grandkids, my children, whoever, and I decided to create 27 stories about the days in my career. 27 specific days of things that happened. And one of those times was when I was with the Yankees in 77 in spring training in Lauderdale with Reggie and Thurman and Catfish. And Billy Martin didn't want me. They sent me to the minor leagues, and they told me that before I could play in a minor league team that I had to shave my mustache. And that back in those days, I was going into my third year in AAA, and I was on the gangplank. I was not going to make the big leagues because I was 28 years old at the time. And I went to my AAA team in Syracuse, and I had a mustache revolt. I had all the guys vote to grow mustaches or not, and I had all the guys supporting me. And I just thought I'd start the book out with that story, because it tells the story of a lot of people's lives, about those times where people are telling you to do something you really don't want to do, and you have to draw the line in the sand. And I do the line in the sand, and I put the title on the front of the book.
And the funny thing is, I didn't realize that you were in the Yankee system, because you played with the White Sox and you won the World Series with the Kansas City Royals. So that was really cool the way you talk. You talk about this book, which I think is great, and I like it. 27 stories, because it takes 27 outs out of a baseball game.
Yeah, I have more stories, but I said if I can't get people interested in 27, why should I write more? So I stopped at 27, and a lot of them are about the South Side there in Comiskey Park. I talk about disco demolition. I talk about the day that Manny Minoso pinch hit for me. I talk about playing with Ed Farmer. It's just things that I wanted to put down in writing, so that if people told my stories, at least they'd get them close to right if I put them down in print. And, it's so funny, Kenny, that my rookie card, you'll see that was taken in Yankee Stadium. And right. It was in 78. So I was growing a mustache, and my rookie card is so funny that I was a White Sox growing a mustache in Yankee Stadium.
Right. And that was Steinbrenner's rule, right? No mustaches. Hey, and I love the story in the book where Steinbrenner wanted to sign you for some money, and you told him no.
Well, I was a free agent during the 77 season. Marvin Miller, the union rep, or the head of the union, had called me when I was in Syracuse. He said, Pryor, you can play your last year out there in Syracuse. You could be a free agent. And when the Yankees found out about it, they had traded for me, not knowing I could be a free agent. So when they found out, Gabe Paul, the general manager of the Yankees, and Steinbrenner flew me to New York. I went over just for experience, because I really wasn't going to sign with them, because they had Nettles and Dent and Randolph in the infield. I knew I couldn't play in front of those guys. So he offered me the 2-year contract face-to-face in Yankee Stadium. I turned him down because, he couldn't guarantee me I was going to get a chance to play. And he called me a dumbass, really, right to my face.
But it worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, it did because like that God is in control in our lives. I think that we can say, and I think that when you go to work, you want to work for somebody that wants you, so you can have a chance. And luckily for me, I became the free agent, turned a 2-year contract down, and my manager in Syracuse was Pete Ward. Pete was an old White Sox third baseman, and he called Bill Veeck and Roland Heeman and said, "Hey, you might look at this Pryor guy. He's a pretty good shortstop." So my agent, Steve Greenberg, connected with me to be my agent. He and his dad, Hank Greenberg, were very close with Mr. Veeck for all those years. And it worked out that I got to sign a 1-year contract in Chicago. I got to come up there in '78, and I was so scared, about playing for Bob Lemon, like my first big league manager. And then Larry Doby took over for him. And then the Kessinger became the manager, and then LaRussa. So I spent 4 wonderful years there in the South Side. It was just the best time of my life.
Mm-hmm. One thing about being on the South Side of Chicago, you guys had some real unique uniforms. Now, you haven't seen anything like this before or since.
Hey, yeah.
Were these things comfortable, or were they not comfortable?
Hey, Mrs. Veeck, Mary Frances Veeck, supposedly designed those because they wanted to bring an older look back into the mix. And even though as a player, I would have worn a dress at that time, Kenny, if they told me to, just to be in the big leagues. But putting that uniform on was an honor for me because when I got to the White Sox and I got up to home plate there in Comiskey Park, I thought about guys like Louis Aparicio and Vinny Minoso, the guys that came before me that played on that field. And here I was playing the same position, hitting in the same batter's box as them. The uniform didn't matter to me, even though some people love it. Some people just don't like it. But for me, it was comfortable. It didn't cause me any problem at all. And I'm just proud to say that I wore the White Sox uniform no matter what it looked like.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the book, which, again, I read this weekend, I loved it. You talked about Disco Demolition Night, a very unique night in baseball.
Yeah, it was an amazing time because it was a doubleheader against the Tigers, and I was going to play in both games. I played the shortstop in the first game, and the fans didn't really start showing up there until like the last part of the first game. But by the time that first game ended, it was packed. There was 44,000 there, and they had banners up everywhere. And the aura was something that I had never seen before, and I will never see again because there's only one night that they blew up disco music, and that was it.
Well, so, but as a player, were you guys upset that the second game got postponed because these people literally tore up Comiskey Park?
Yeah, it was sad because Mr. Veeck certainly didn't plan that. It wasn't intentional disruption or disregard for the game, but it was sad because it's not a good thing to have to sacrifice a game when you didn't even play it to the other team. But we were upset, but they were trying to storm our clubhouse, Kenny. We had to lock ourselves in our clubhouse, or they would have taken over our clubhouse. So it was pretty nasty, and unfortunately, it was a celebration that went awry, and we still talk about it. We didn't get out of the. We heard the horses outside our clubhouse on the cement. They called in the mounted police, and they settled everybody down. But the game was forfeited, and it was just unfortunate time in the history of the White Sox.
Yeah, it had to be a scary time to be locked in your dressing room. That had to be scary.
When I was out at shortstop, I remember them. Some of these records were thrown on the field like frisbees, and it got to be pretty dangerous. It's not the most dangerous time I've ever played in a major league or a game, but it was pretty close.
And another game that you played in was the Pine Tar with George Brett when he hit the home run. That's something we'll never see again. He was a little upset here when the umpires called him out for having too much Pine Tar on his bat. You played in that game, and also in the book, you talk about how the Royals protested. They won the protest, but Brett's kicked out the game, so you have to come in and replace George Brett in the Pine Tar game.
Well, my number was 4, and his was 5, so I was locker next to him before the Pine Tar game, and we went back in. But when we went back in to finish that game, the American League president overturned the ruling that the home run didn't count and made it count. So we went back in to finish the game. And I'm thinking the whole time, I was thinking, I've never had pressure like this before. so I'm out there in the bottom of the ninth at Yankee Stadium. We got a run lead. Quisenberry's on the mound for us, and I'm just hoping that they don't hit the ball to me.
Hit anywhere but me, right? Anywhere but me.
One of the worst things I could have been. It was a goat of the Pine Tar game, but I did play. I was the only player, one of my non-claims to fame, I was the only player to ever play in the Pine Tar game and the Disco Demolition game.
Yeah, two great games in baseball history. One thing that I loved about the book, too, you came in and you tell a story. Now, George Brett is a Hall of Famer, but for his 2000s base hit, he borrowed your bat.
Well, you work your tail off to become a big league hitter, and then you get one of the best hitters in the history of the game nudging you in the dugout, asking you to borrow a bat. And I thought he was talking to somebody else. I didn't think he was talking to me, George Brett. And then I told him where my bat was. The next thing I know, looked, he's up there on deck swinging a donut, swinging the bat with a donut. And I started almost laughing to myself because I'm the only one that knows besides him. He gets a base hit. Gets to first base, and they stop the game. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Well, I looked on the scoreboard, and it said George Brett just stroked his 2000th hit. And I'm thinking, he did it with my bat. It was my bat.
So, hey, you're part of baseball history again.
So after the game, I take the bat up to his locker. I said, George, you need to keep this bat. He goes, I don't want that bat. He went 1 for 7. He was hitting like 230 at the time. He wasn't in a good mood. So I got him to autograph that bat to me, and I still have it. That's a lot of hits. 10 years of 200 hits is a lot of hits.
Yeah, that's a lot of base hits. I know in Chicago, so many people loved Minnie Minoso. I know you liked Minnie Minoso. And I hate to keep talking. I don't tell all the stories in the book because we want people to go buy the book. But I was really interested in the story where Minnie Minoso pinch hit for you, and it was a gimmick, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, it's funny that LaRussa wrote the forward to that book, and I had to send a manuscript to him. And that story about Minnie pinch hitting for me wasn't very complimentary of Tony LaRussa. And I was worried when I sent that manuscript, thought Tony might get upset and say, Pryor, I'm not going to write anything for you. But, Minnie pinch hit for me in 1980 to make his playing in the big leagues for his 5th decade. And I explained what happened in the book. We don't need to go in detail now. But LaRussa called me back, and he goes, Pryor, you got all over me for the Minnie Minoso thing. He says, I said, look, Tony, I said, you can write anything you want in your forward about that. You can answer me. I don't care. And when Tony agreed to write that forward, and he addressed the Minnie Minoso pinch hit situation in like a Hall of Fame manager that he is, it made me feel so good. Even though the bottom line was, he says, I'm the manager and the players are the players. I have the office and they have the locker. They just need to get over it.
Right. Well, the White Sox.
But one more thing about Minnie, real quick. Minnie hit me ground balls. It was an honor. Or hit me ground balls, and I was I respected him so much. It had nothing to do with Minnie Minoso's career. It was just that I was a real competitor, and I didn't want to get pitch hit for in a game that we were leading, and I was going to be the leadoff hitter at the bottom of 7th. But I didn't hit. Minnie hit for me. Well,
and again, you want to win the game, and that's understandable because upstairs may want gimmicks, but downstairs you want to win. And I tip my hat to you. Hey, what was it like winning the World Series with Kansas City?
Well, it was like a dream come true for me, but for the guys that had been there before me, you don't get in a World Series unless you're normally on a team with a lot of bona fide all-stars and guys with major league and playoff experience. That's what normally happens when you win a World Series. And it was for me when I got traded there, because I was around guys like Frank White, Willie Wilson, Dan Quisenberry, George Brett, Brett Saberhagen. And these guys were bona fide, hardcore, old-time baseball players that when they hit that line, they went out there to win. There was nothing else happening except trying to win the game. And over the course of that season, we were close to winning our division. We had won our division the year before in '84. We got beat by the Tigers 3-0. But in '85, we come back against the Blue Jays. We were down 3-1, the American League Championship. We won 3 games in a row and to beat them to go to play against the Cardinals in '85. And then we got down 3-1 to the Cardinals. And we had to we had to win the 5th game there in St. Louis and then come back and win 2 at home. And when we won it, I said, well, maybe we can just cancel baseball forever, because I could have had a bigger thrill than that. So wearing this World Series ring has been a thrill for me. And I'm just one of those guys. There's a lot of guys that were a lot better than me, Kenny, in the big leagues, but not a lot of guys can wear a World Series ring.
You're right. People play 20 years and never make it to the World Series. Hey, we've talked so much about the book. We love it. I like it.
Yeah, well, I got
the Chicago cover too. Yeah.
For the White Sox fans, I can put a White Sox cover on it too.
Yeah. Where can we find this book?
Well, the title of the book is where they can go. TheDayTheYankeesMadeMeShave.com. TheDayTheYankeesMadeMeShave.com, or GregoryPryor.com. And if they want to, I'll autograph one of my rookie cards and send it with the book, and I'll personalize every book that they order, because I would love to have the White Sox fans read my stories, because that's one of the reasons why I wrote it.
Now, you're out of baseball, but you own a health and wellness business, I understand.
Yeah, my wife and I have owned a company called Life Priority since 1994, and we ship health and nutritional products nationwide. And we would love to talk to people about how they can live a healthier life. And lifepriority.com is the name of that company's website. They can go there and see what we do. And we ship products nationwide. And we have wonderful products for overall total body health. And we're just really pleased that we've been blessed with a company like lifepriority.com.
What made you decide to go into the health and wellness business?
I will tell you, Kenny, when I turned 40, 41, 42, I noticed the aging process, and I started taking things as a customer because I wanted to feel better. You know, I didn't feel very good. And then when I knew that it helped me feel better, the light bulbs started going off. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I mean, if these can help me, who else can they help? Well, my wife, Michelle, she noticed the change in me. And she said, Greg, I think I'd like to start taking them too. So when you get your wife and yourself healthy at the same time, or feeling better at the same time, good things can happen. So we started selling under another label, and then we took it under our own label in '94, only because of our results and how much we felt in a good way. And now I ship nationwide. We sell through chiropractors. I have doctors that resell my product. So Kenny, it's been a long road, but people can take more control of their health, and it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg, but it's going to be all worth it, because if you're not feeling good, life is not as good.
Well, you're preaching to the choir right here. You are preaching to the choir. You want to feel good. Hey, one more time, where can we get this great book? One more time?
Yeah, one more time. TheDayTheYankeesMadeMeShave.com, forward by LaRussa, and then lifepriority.com for anybody that wants to talk about. We'd be glad to talk to them about how we can help them feel a lot better today, unless they don't, you know.
Well, Greg, hey, thank you so much, buddy. Great reconnecting with you. When I was just a little kid, you were so nice to me when I was running around Comiskey Park trying to feel my way into broadcasting, have no idea what I was doing. But you were one of the great guys. You were so nice, and I'll never forget it.
Thank you very much. And the next time if we ever do this, I would like to see that bat. That might have been one of the best bats I ever had, and I gave it to you.
Yeah, I got it. You know what? I got it in a box somewhere. I put it somewhere safe so I wouldn't forget where I put it, and I forgot where I put it. So, but I still have it.
But for any White Sox fans listening, and my Facebook page is Greg Pryor. They can go there if they want to follow me on Facebook, because I post a lot of things on Facebook, and that's how you and I connected. I think that's how we connected. Yeah.
Yep, we did. But Greg, hey, thanks so much. Good luck with the book and your other business. Hey, I really appreciate you taking time with me. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kenny. Thank you.